Hey everyone, Alex here with UTRGB Outdoor Adventures. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the basic knots you can use to set up almost any type of tarp shelter. The first knot I'm going to teach you is the bowline. This knot creates a loop at the end of the rope that isn't going to slip. I use it mostly to establish my first anchor point for my ridge line for my shelter, as well as to attach the guy line from my shelter to a stake, and I'll show you both ways to tie it loose as well as attaching it to an object. So first way, I like to use a little bit of a story to make sure I'm tying the knot properly. You'll take your rope, then you're going to set up your, the setting for your story is a tree with a hole in the ground, and then your working end, your loose end here, is your rabbit. So you want to make sure that the tree is coming up out of the ground, so that's the upside there. Then the rabbit comes up out of the hole. He goes around the tree, in the back of the tree, back down into the hole. So you've got your tree up here, rabbit coming up, out, around, and then he'll go back down right here. You want to make sure to grab both sides underneath the hole down here. Grab that tree, pull that tight. Now you've got your loop, so that's what your finished knot should look like. Let me neaten that up a little bit so that you get a better view of that. So that's what your finished knot should look like. When you're tying it loose, at this point, you can wrap it around your anchor point and pull the loose end through to create your ridge line. You can also use this to create a quick release. So if I put a stick through here, pull that tight, that's going to stay there, but then when I pull that stick out, you're ready to go. But if you want to tie it directly to the tree, it's the exact same process. First, you'll wrap it around. Then again, you want to establish that setting with the rope, and you've got your tree and your hole. Again, rabbit comes up out of the hole, goes around the back of the tree, back down in the hole. You've got that same loop there. Pull that tight. Now you've got your rope right there. It's not going to move. Get a nice solid anchor. This knot isn't going to slip on you. And you've got your foundation for your shelter. Here's the bow line from a different angle when you're attaching your guy line to a tarp, and this will be the same whether it's a design tarp shelter like I have here, or if you're using just a basic tarp with a grommet on the end here. First, again, you'll establish your hole with your tree coming up out of the ground, working end over here. Pinch this together with one hand, then you'll take your working end, go through your tarp or your grommet, whatever type of shelter you're using. Then the process is exactly the same. You're going to go up out of the hole, pull that slack out around the back of the tree, and it goes back down into that same hole, just like that. So again, you're pulling from the bottom of that hole, that tree, pull that nice and snug. Again, that loop, it will stay nice and small. That's not going to slip on you. Again, that's another close-up. That's how your knot should look from either side. Nice sturdy knot. It's going to take a big load, so if you got a big wind when you're building your shelter, that rope isn't going to give out on you. The second knot you'll need is the trucker's hitch. So I've got my ridge line established here from my bow line earlier. And then you'll take your rope, you're going to wrap it around your second anchor point, just like that. Then on your ridge line, you're going to take the rope, you're going to make a loop, like so. And then on the anchor side, you're going to take the rope again, but instead of making a loop, you're going to make a bite, which is just pinching the rope together like that. So I'm not crossing it over, I'm just pinching it together. Then I'm going to take that bite, put it through the loop, pull that nice and tight. So you've got your slip loop here. It's called a slip loop because you can just pull that out. But you've got your slip loop. Then you'll take the rope from around the outside of your anchor, put it through that slip loop, crank it down like this, and this way you've got a 3-to-1 system, so you can really crank that down, get that super tight. so your shelter isn't going to be flapping in the wind. Once you've got it through that loop here, you're going to pinch all 3 ropes. So you've got my rope here and that side, pinching all 3 together. Then you're going to make another bite, wrap it around the back, make sure to leave some space on the bottom side here. You want to keep this pinched again so there's no slack coming out, but that's staying as tight as possible. So make your bite here, wrap it over top all 3, and then back down where you've got your original, pull that tight. And then depending on how much slack you've got here, you can tie another one just to secure it. You can tuck it through, pull that tight, that's gonna lock that knot off. You can do that loop again, wrap it around, or if you've got a huge bundle, what I like to do is tuck that through my loop here, pull that tight, so then your bundle is nice and secure, it's not on the ground, you're not gonna trip over it. But then you've got your nice tight ridge line here, that's not gonna slip on you. And if you need to adjust it, all you gotta do, pull those 2 loops out, pull that down tight again, and redo it. So we'll go through that one more time. Again, you've got your ridge line, make your loop, take your bite, put it through the loop. Oops, see, I did it the wrong way, so we gotta loop here, whoops, loop, bite, through the bite, take your slack, around there, put it through, pull it tight, and then again to tie it off, you typically don't want it necessarily this close to the anchor point, but you want to pinch all 3 of those, make your bite go around the top, and then back through that loop you created. And so that's going to cinch everything down. Then again, to lock it off, you can do that again, or you can do a half hitch, which is just again that overhand knot. Loop it on top of that loop, pull it through. So again, that's not going to slip. You've got all that tension there, and then when you're ready to untie, all you got to do, undo that one, pull it all, and you're ready to take your tarp shelter down. The final knot I'm going to teach you is the taut line hitch. Just like the trucker's hitch, this creates a loop where you can pull that tension out, create a nice taut ridge line. The difference is the trucker's hitch, you can create a lot more tension a lot easier, but the trucker's hitch isn't quite as easily adjustable as the taut line hitch. So there's a little bit of a trade-off, but the trucker's hitch is typically a little bit more secure. What I typically use this knot for is to establish my stake. So I'll tie the bowline again to my tarp for the guy line, and then I'll tie this knot to be able to adjust where my stake is at in the ground. So it starts off exactly the same as the trucker's hitch. You'll wrap it around your anchor point here, but instead of making the loop here, you're gonna take your rope and wrap on the inside once, twice. And you typically don't want this much slack in there, but that's what we're dealing with. And then after you wrap around the inside twice, so you've got your loop, 1, 2, you're gonna take your rope on the outside, coming underneath, it'll go around the outside and down through that loop you created, pull that slack out. So you've got 2 on the inside, 1 on the outside. You want to make sure that your excess is coming out one side, your loop is going to the other. So when you pull that tight, it pinches right there. So then when there's not a whole lot of tension on it, you can adjust that. But when you create a whole lot of tension, that's not going to slip on you. It'll sit there and stay there, even when it's being pulled. So nice and easy to adjust when you need to. We'll do it one more time. So again, wrap it around your anchor, make that loop, wrap on the inside once, twice, just like that, come around the outside, and then down through that loop, pull that knot nice and snug, And then this is real adjustable, so if you need to move your stake, all you have to do is take it off, measure about how far you need, pull that snug. Again, when there's tension on it, that rope won't move on its own, but then when you can easily take that tension off, adjust it as you need to. And that's the 3 knots you need to know to build just about any tarp shelter. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out our upcoming shelter videos to see these knots in action on an actual shelter.